Hi, my name is Kaylin Joseph, and this is my American Like Me rhetorical analysis on Liza Koshy's chapter. Before we start analyzing the chapter, let's take a look at past, or the purpose, audience, speaker, and situation. So let's start with the purpose. The purpose of the chapter is to provide information about Liza Koshy's life in a fun and humorous way, and how she faced the adversity of not knowing where she belonged or fit in. The audience is Liza Koshy's and America Ferrera's fans, given that she's the one who wrote the book, and those who've experienced the feeling of not being able to fit in anywhere. The speaker is America Ferrera in the intro, but Liza Koshy is in the bodies. Liza just wants to share her story, making people not feel so alone. Lastly, the situation is that Liza is struggling yet thriving with her ethnic identity in a way that makes her feel that she isn't restricted to just one ethnicity or one culture. Rather, she is diversified within her community. Before analyzing the chapter, it's important to know a little bit about the author. As seen in an excerpt in the book, Liza Koshy is an actress and entertainer who is well known for making comedy skits and characters. She's the star of the YouTube original Liza On Demand, Hulu's Freakish, and host of MTV's reboot of TRL. She's a sister, daughter, friend, and an advocate for mental health. After reading Liza Koshy's chapter, we can see that her main argument is, I am brown and people have no idea why. To construct her argument, Liza uses personal anecdotes and ethos and pathos appeals. She uses personal anecdotes to emphasize her argument, and she uses ethos and pathos appeals to validate hers and other people's thoughts, and to bring humor to the whole situation. She also uses quotes throughout the passage as evidence. In paragraphs 1 through 6, Liza uses a strategy of personal anecdotes to show the use of microaggression of those who try to assume her ethnicity. The effect that this has on the audience is that they can see that people think that they just sound like they're genuinely curious for an answer when asking a question, yet they don't realize the racism they've implicated in asking for that answer. Just because she's brown doesn't mean she's experienced racism growing up. The appeal used in this section is ethos because she's able to prove her credibility. Liza strengthens her ethos by sounding very relatable and trustworthy of what she's saying, then moving into more of an empathetic tone when she shows her love for all her friends and just for the town that she lived her whole childhood in. Liza strengthens her ethos by sounding very relatable and trustworthy of what she's saying, then moving into more of an empathetic tone when she shows her love for all her friends and just for the town that she lived her whole childhood in. In paragraphs 7 through 11, the strategy used is expression of how thankful she is to this place for creating a safe space for her and her parents. She uses literature references as reasoning for why she loves Braeswood so much. Paragraphs 7 through 8 are able to bring the audience in and give them a feeling of togetherness with Liza. She also provides examples of her parents to show that this town is a place where people can be happy. The device used here is a very expressive and thankful diction, as seen by the highlighted sections. She is thankful that her and her parents could be just who they are without feeling out of place or judged. Some other devices Liza uses are allusion to Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet to show that the love between her parents in this town isn't unlawful or wrong. She carries out this section with a humorous tone. The strategies used in the remaining paragraphs of this section is explanation of childhood jokes her parents made about her ethnicity as seen in the first line of paragraph 11. She shows how she assimilated into other people's cultures rather than her own, even being better at it than they are themselves. The effect that this has in the audience is her credibility is being improved. In paragraph 13, Liza's strategy is to attempt to connect with the reader. She shows how her friend group stereotypes were broken. She provides examples of this racial integration highlighted in purple, where she says that Hispanics ate collard greens and the Black kids ate tamales. Liza helps the reader further understand how the dynamic was when she lived in Braeswood. The device used in this paragraph is figurative language when Liza's father compared her skin color to coffee. In paragraphs 19 through 22, Liza uses examples of the different things her friends brought her as a way to back up her statement that the way they acknowledge each other's heritage came off as racist. These examples are used as a defense mechanism for her friends. The effect that this has on the reader is that it shows the audience that Liza doesn't feel negated or disrespected by the things her friends say and the things they gift her that refer to her ethnicity. The devices used were quotes and a fast-paced defensive tone. Once again, to defend the things her friend says in order to defend them, she denounces herself in a way that makes herself seem inferior to them. In paragraphs 23 to 36, Liza's strategy is to use loose diction as seen in the purple highlighted sections. She's trying to keep the text fun and not fit into any fixed category of jargon. In paragraph 23, Liza improves her ethos, showing the audience that she really is speaking how she speaks in real life and not limiting herself to more intellectual words. The devices used here are a personal anecdote where she talks about what happened every Friday night with her friends on the dance team, highlighted in red, and descriptive diction where she gave detail as to how they spent their time. There's a shift in tone from positive to negative, where Liza says that yes, her life was amazing and all she'd hoped it would be, but there were downfalls to not knowing where she truly fit in. Liza includes anaphora saying I wanted over and over, strengthening her ethos and pathos appeals. Liza provides the audience with emotions that they can relate to. Continuing paragraphs 23 to 36, Liza once again created her own jargon, which improves her ethos, and there is another switch from the negative tone of wanting and never being able to have something to being grateful for all that she does have. Liza uses comparison, as shown in the highlighted purple sections, as a way to joke and bring humor to the situation in which she dressed in her culture to go to prom. Liza creates a sense of pity among her audience, revealing how she felt about herself. Compared to all of her friends, the device used here is simile because of her constant use of like as comparison. In paragraphs 37 to 42, Liza explains to the audience why prom was such a big deal to her and her community. This defines her ethos and proves that she was a regular teenager that wasn't different from anyone else. The devices used here are anaphora, as seen in the highlighted blue sections, and a simile in the beginning of the sentence, highlighted in purple. To continue this section, Liza continues to compare, but in a different way. This time, she compares the way her outfit for prom was seen from a white person's point of view and then from an Indian person's point of view. She continues to denounce herself unintentionally when she refers to the pieces of her outfit as cape over the shoulder thing and dingling. This way, she is also able to make what she's saying more understandable to the audience. The device used here is once again loose diction, which improves her ethos. Lastly, in paragraphs 43 to 45, Liza condescends the term melting pot because she believes that her and her community aren't all the same and that they are diverse. Liza gets the audience to see that even though her and her friends don't treat each other differently because of their differences, they acknowledge and respect them, knowing they are all different. The device here is figurative language because she creates a metaphor to salad when describing how all of her friends are all different ingredients that are thrown together and that are supposed to be together. Grateful diction is used once again just to show how grateful Liza is for her hometown and the people she was surrounded by growing up. Thank you.